Hello and welcome to the Week in Review, a show that brings you up to date on the week that was. Here are the top stories. 2 weeks after the election results, the new government gets down to business. Finance Minister Pranab Mukherjee lays out his economic plan, promises more reforms. Bharti Airtel revives merger talks with South Africa's MTN. For all that and more, stay with me. I'm Vaishali Jain. After much deliberation, 59 ministers were sworn in on Thursday, and on Friday, the action had started as ministers took charge of their portfolios. In their first interactions with the media, many of them gave clues on how they plan to proceed. Petroleum Minister Murli Deora said the cabinet would take a decision on deregulation of petrol and diesel prices in 6 weeks. Company Affairs Minister Salman Khurshid said he would reintroduce the company's bill. On the Satyam scandal, he said he had asked the Serious Fraud Investigation Office to chalk out a strategy for prosecution along with the CBI. And Minister for Commerce Anand Sharma said he would work to intensify India's trade engagement with the world.
We can do what we can to ensure that Indian economy remains vibrant, our industry remains vibrant, and we also are in a position to create more employment opportunities by giving support that is required through policy measures or otherwise to the labor-intensive industries.
Law and Justice Minister Veerappa Moily said the next 5 years would be an era of judicial reforms. He also spoke of modernization of police forces.
Government, both at the center and the state, are the biggest litigants. Biggest litigants. We need to address how best we can reduce on our part. That needs a governance process to take place so that to the extent possible the litigations can be reduced.
Finance Minister Pranab Mukherjee has promised more economic and financial reforms, a focus on infrastructure creation, and emphasis on inclusive growth. In his first press conference after taking charge, Mukherjee reiterated that the government would strive for balance.
I have no hesitation in saying that along with reviving the momentum of growth and employment creation, our government will strengthen the various inclusive elements in the coming budget.
The stock market reacted positively to the statement of intent by the finance minister. Pranab plans to present the full budget for 2009-2010 in the first week of July. Moving on, Bharti Airtel has revived merger talks with South Africa's MTN group. If the merger goes through, it would create one of the largest mobile phone companies in the world with close to 200 million customers and a combined revenue of at least $20 billion or 94,400 crore rupees. The two companies will engage exclusive negotiations till July 31st. The announcement came almost exactly a year after the two firms broke off merger talks because of differences over who would control the combined entity. Our national corporate editor, Josey talks about the significance of the deal.
From a strategic point of view, there are two main drivers for this deal. One, it allows Bharti to go into a set of markets which are fairly high revenue markets from a customer billing perspective. So this comes at a time when revenues are beginning to flatten out in India, so it allows Bharti to keep its revenue engine really going. For MTN, what it means is potentially gaining from Bharti's low-cost model. If they can transplant that from India to their markets, 22 markets, then they can kind of really ratchet up their profits. But there is one key hurdle, if you will, Vaishali, before this deal. It's a very complexly structured deal, and regulatory approval is still not very clear that they're going to get it very easily. And also, for the benefits of the merger to really kind of play out, they will need to have a full merger in an operational and equity sense rather than the kind of band-aid perspective that they've gone ahead with this now. Back to you, Vaishali.
Okay, thanks, Josey. And moving on, television and advertisers just can't seem to get enough of cricket. The IPL just got over, but with other high-profile tournaments coming up to ensure that advertising money keeps flowing to channels telecasting these matches, non-sports channels lose advertising revenue.
Riding high on the cricket craze in the country, sports channels are walking away with a large chunk of the advertising pie. There are a number of international cricket tournaments scheduled for the entire year, like ICC Champions Trophy and Champions League.
There has been tremendous advertiser response for this T20 World Cup, or the ICC T20 Championship as we call it. There has been substantial offtake of the inventory well before the tournament itself. The average rate is around 400,000.
To maximize viewer interest and woo back big advertisers, several non-cricket channels are reworking their programming strategy and holding back major plans to lean cricket season. For Mint in New Delhi, this is Priyanka Mehra.
The estimated 40 million workers who have kept their retirement money with the state-run Employees Provident Fund organization will receive a return of 8.5% in 2008-2009 thanks to new private sector fund managers who injected a dose of competition and a rise in bond prices after October. Sanjeev Shankaran reports.
The Employees Provident Fund organization is about to declare 8.5% as the interest rate it's going to pay on its corpus for the year 2009-10. The moment a new Labour Minister assumes charge, the Board of Trustees are going to meet and this will be formally announced. Now, the unusual thing about this 8.5% that is estimated for 2009-10 is that after a gap of about 7 years, for the first time, EPFO is not going to dip into its contingency reserves to pay an interest rate. In the last few years, the EPFO simply did not earn enough to pay the interest rates that it declared, which is 8.5% the last 2 years and the 8% the year before that. What it kept doing was dipping into something called contingency reserves, which is a part of the fund that's earmarked for a rainy day, and use that money to pay 8.5% or 8% as the case was.
Okay, thanks Sanjeev. And that's all we have for you. Thanks for watching.